planning and putting these things together.
Yeah.
And a good brother, his name is Tashim Goins. He been introducing me to all that. He's educated me, and I had a chance to learn a lot from him. But it was funny because for another friend of mine who I shared some of the information with too,
Yeah.
he sent me this video of a financial advisor that represents and has a lot of MBA clients. And one of the things that he mentioned in that short little clip was he puts together family offices for those guys. So it was just something that I was like, man,
Yeah.
it's good to see
I'm,
that that's starting to happen.
Yeah, we got to tap in, and that's something you don't. I mean, that's just something you can build. That ain't just like just a family thing. That can just be some people to come together and say this is gonna be our family office, even if you're not family. Just creating it. Yeah.
Yep. I mean, I'm a find there's like some UCC codes, and there's also like some guidelines. I forget whether it's in Wyoming or Delaware. It's one of the two, but I'm gonna find them. I got them in my files.
Yeah.
But it has like the definition of family, and it's basically whoever you consider family.
And that's what I be talking about all the time, because I'm real big on our community. I'm real big on quote unquote family and all that. But sometimes your family ain't what you was born into. It's just the honest truth. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
So
right, yeah.
we misconstrue being in some toxic, staying around some toxic, being around people that don't mean you no good, that's not there for you, just because we're quote unquote related. And that's why I always tell people who I'm related to and who my family is two different things. And my mom hate when I say that, but now she's starting to understand why I say what I say. It's not dissing nobody, but that's the truth. I got a lot of blood family members. Not that we hate each other, but they don't pour into me. They don't support me. And, we don't have we don't. And I learned this, I think the last time we talked, matter of fact, yeah, because we had put off our first interview when my partner had died. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And I was like, man, I done lost grandpas, I done lost great grandmas, I done lost a lot of people in my family, but that felt like the first death. And not because I didn't love them or have love for them, but just the bond that me and him had was
Right.
way more deeper than, like my grandpas. I didn't really grow up with them. I didn't, what I'm saying? Like, I love them as my grandpa, but I didn't have those moments. I didn't get those whippings. I didn't get those teachings.
Yeah.
I didn't get the things that make you really bond with your mom, your grandma, and your grandpa. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And that's when I really like, man, I'm 40 years old. I think this is my first death. This is the first time like I was like really crushed. And I'd have been to some funerals. I done shed a couple tears before, but like just being crushed, having somebody that you really been tied to for 30 years, they not here no more. That's different. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm big on that, man. So I don't want people to think, because sometimes they'll see me go at my quote unquote family. But it is, oh man, you supposed to be for the community. Yeah, I am for the community, but being for the community and building up our community means we got to check some people and cut some people out too. Everybody not gonna be on this boat, man. We got to get that out of our head.
Yeah, everybody can't go.
Because if you don't even want them to, because I got a segue coming out called Lessons from the Ancestors, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, and that's one of the things that we ought to learn from the ancestors. The Black Panthers fell. Why? Yes, the government was after them, but the reason the government was able to really infiltrate them so quick, because they let everybody in. They just wanted everybody in. That's easy. A government say, you letting everybody in? Let me pay some of these people that look like you to go in and infiltrate you.
Yeah.
We got to realize, no matter how much we love our people, how much we for people, I always tell people, no matter how I'm for my community, whatever, I'm not blind to the fact that some of those will be the first ones that hate, don't support, talk down, hope to ruin me. That's just a fact. That ain't nothing. That's just baked in the cake. It ain't even nothing to argue about. That's just what it is. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. It's just like and when it comes to a business aspect, if you go to any business in America, they're not just hiring anybody.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's why they got an interview process. They're gonna vet you. They're gonna put you through a little series of interviews to see if they want you a part of their organization.
Yeah.
You might be somebody that bring the whole thing down.
Yeah, and if you get hired, you're still gonna be on a probation period, because they'll let you go quick if you get the plane.
Exactly. So even though you family, you might sink the family ship.
Yeah,
So
for real.
if you want to stay on board, you can, you know what I'm saying? It would be advantageous for you to get in line and be conducive to the family instead of tearing
Yeah,
it down.
yeah.
You know what I mean? So
And it's just something we gotta put our big boy pants on and just deal with. It ain't nothing, it's just deal with it. And I learned this because I used to be so down like 15 plus years ago when I started businesses, right?
mm-hmm.
And I'm like, man, ain't nobody in my family supporting, ain't nobody pulling up, ain't nobody doing this. But what got me away from that, I still, you still gonna have that little bit in you because you want your family to support you. If you're doing something that could benefit your family, of course you want your family to support you, right?
Yeah, for
But then
sure.
I have to ask myself, like Walt didn't start Disney World for his family. Like I had to get out that mindset and start building stuff for the world, building stuff for people that I don't know. And that's what really brings in the wealth. Like if you only do something, have a business that only your family support, it's not gonna last long anyway.
Right.
That's just the fact of it, So
Yeah,
I had to get
absolutely.
out of that. Of course, you still want that to be a factor. You want them to support, but don't build something and depending on it, hoping on it when it don't come through,
Yeah, most definitely. Most definitely.
But anyway, we started off, you know what I'm saying? But it's nice to have you back on the Wealth is Gangster, man. Hey, when I bring your name up around town, you that age, and you a few years younger than me, right? Yeah.
Yes, yeah.
So I think you went to school with maybe my sisters, Tasha Nicole, the one that got baby, Timothy, Timothy Hamilton, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and Nicole, that's his. Okay, that's my sister Nicole. Because I was talking to my brother, my brother Kevin Collins.
Yep. He's a little bit older than me too.
Yeah. Okay, so I was trying to figure out, me. That's when I had left school a while back. So people that know each other from like the school settings and stuff, I lost track of all that.
Right. Yeah.
But just talking to people, man. Like people respect you around this area, man. You know what I'm saying? People got love for you, and they know what you're doing. They just know about it as a far though. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I'm saying. Like it's always. You're one of those people that the community need to embrace more because a lot of people they start off and they move away, right? Mm-hmm. And then when they move away and they doing better and people hear of them doing better, hear of them doing things and this and that, but they don't really get that sudden support because they feel like you left or something like that. You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
like,
yeah.
That type of situation. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes we have to leave to better ourselves. That's just a fact of it, right?
Yeah, for sure.
That's why I'm glad that me and you connected because now we can, because the first thing you talked about, man, we need to do this for our community. That was one of the first things you said. And so you already been down with it. You just ain't really being where you at now and you need somebody that's here really like putting in that work that you can team up with because you can't be here all the time, right?
Yeah, most definitely. And that's kind of like one of the visions that I saw too is like, because, I've been in this business for 3 years, but immediately as I got the information, like I was a client of a friend of mine in the business before anything. I didn't jump into the business of wealth planning and things like that right away, but I started to rearrange what I was doing. And I just started having conversation with folks and then also analyzing, my parents' lifestyle, how hard they worked. And then also when it came to that quote unquote retirement age, I also saw how that worked out. So, and then I started to think about my parents' friends and other people in the community. And so I started to really understand how much the information was needed. And so that's when I came into the business because I was like, I know a lot of people I can tap into and I know the infrastructure of the community and the jobs that are available. And once I got a better understanding of how the benefits from those jobs worked, I was like, yeah, a lot of people need this. And it's one of those things, like, as you mentioned, sometimes you got to move away from your community or your environment. And one thing I also noticed as my journey through personal growth was that a lot of concepts, a lot of thoughts and ideas were not my own. It was my dad's ideas and his thoughts and his perception. It was my mom's ideas because that's what we absorbed through childhood. Everything that we do like in our young adult life is an emulation of what we learned from our parents and those people around us. Yeah. So getting away from that allowed me to kind of see the world from a different view, different perspective, through different experience. And then I started to formulate my own thoughts, ideas, and opinions on what I saw for myself. And then just kind of once I started to gather that, and once I started to feel like where, I was kind of raising my value, I wanted to bring something that I felt was valuable back to, what kind of raised me, you know what I mean? And to be able to help a lot of people. So, it was one thing that, especially when I learned the information, and I tell a lot of my close friends like this all the time, like, it's funny that you said people feel like you moved away, you're doing well and things like that. I always told them, especially when I learned how valuable the information was, I didn't want to be that person that didn't try to reach out and try to give it, hand that information back to people that I know, that I care about in my community as well. So at the end of the day, I was like, at least I can attempt to share it with people. What they do with it is on them, but at least I extended it. At least I tried to reach out. I tried to connect with you. I tried to share what I had, and it's the take it or leave it thing. But as you mentioned, it's not limited to family. It's not limited to the community. It's something that can help in communities everywhere.
Yeah.
But I definitely wanted to make sure I tapped into mine too.
Yeah, for sure. And what I tell people, I call it wealth shaming, right? You know what I'm saying? When somebody's doing better, they try to, he's this, he's sold out, he's this, that. No, and that's a mechanism of trying to keep you, like, long as you're struggling with us, you're okay. But then you're doing better and you're talking better and you're talking different and using bigger words. Now you're quote unquote acting another race or something. That's the type of stigma that I want to break, because so would it be better if we just up here just cussing, talking foolishness, and talking about how we're gonna tear up our community down? Now we're down. Now we're down for the community down. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And it's a whole mind. It's a whole mind screw. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's why I start off with the youngsters, because I get it why they like they are. It's 9 times out of 10, it's the household. It's where they grow up in, right? It's the environment. Even if it ain't the household you grew up in, it's the environment that you're surrounded in once you leave out your household. You know what I'm saying? So it's different reasons why you can be. And man, we was talking about, was I talking to you about that? The conversation, I don't know about I can't remember. I'll be having so many conversations, but we was talking about when you be having, when the child is born young, how they're born with genius, right? But by the time they get yeah. So explain that again. Say that again, because that's so true, man. We take it out of them.
It just so happened. So it's crazy how I met this gentleman. His name is Daniel Thompson. He's an artist. He's in music business and everything like that. Real cool, real smooth guy. He when I saw him, he got his hair slicked back. You know what I mean? He reminded me of the Isley brothers, right? But how I met him was I was pumping gas one day, and me and this guy at the pump struck up a conversation. And he was like, man, I got this guy that moved in town. He's in music. I think you should meet him. And he happened to be in real estate as well. So we connected, and he used to be a part of a life insurance company as well, but they did more on like the property casualty type stuff. So we kind of had some things in common. But anyway, so I met up with the gentleman. We went out, had some dinner and things like that. And one of the things that he mentioned to me before we left, because we got to talking about our kids and my daughter, and I was telling him how she had this little piano that she liked to play, and she really kind of has an interest in music. But he was just saying, he was just encouraging me to pour into that and tap into that. And he said that our children are born intelligent, but they're taught how to be dumbed down. And it was so simple and so profound, that statement.
Yeah.
Because I mentioned this one time as well, like so in the early 1900s, not a lot of people knew how to read. There were millions and millions of people that don't know how to read.
Yeah.
But when you fast forward to today, the public education system did a very, very good job of teaching people how to read. But how come they didn't teach people financial literacy? it's very simple information. When like once you break it down and you got a basic understanding how money works, how come that wasn't a part of the program? And so you gotta. I started to see, and I started to realize, well, there's information that's not taught for a reason. And what I gathered and put together was when people are sick physically, when they're mentally ill, when they're struggling financially, they're always in a place of dependence. Yeah. And then I just ask myself, and I'm not trying to formulate any ideas or tell people what to think. Just think about what I'm saying for yourself. Yeah. Who benefits from people who are sick, financially struggling, mentally struggling, and stuff like that? You put people in a place where they're always dependent, yeah, and they always got to rely on somebody else. And it just so happens that all of that stuff ties into finance. Yeah. Like if you can't physically go out there and work and kind of put in some work, and then if you're also not mentally stable enough to progress, challenge yourself to level up, so to speak, it's hard to build wealth. Like when your traumas and stuff like that affect how you spend money, your purchases, what you do with it, if you're able to save it. And I think we mentioned this last time, like you feel bad, you go buy something. That's all a part of it. You know what I mean? So it makes it challenging to kind of build in life when you're going through those things. And what we have to understand is that there are people who benefit from that struggle. Yeah. And that place of dependence. So
no, and that's what we got to fight against, the mindset of you could be doing bad and you could be in bad situations, but you don't have to stay in that situation, right? Mm-hmm. So a lot of our people, we so used to like struggling and just getting by and just barely making it is a way of life. Like a lot of people champion, like, you know what I'm saying? I'm just and I had to learn I had to stop saying certain words that we don't really think about it when we say it, but it's a programming, right? Oh man, I'm just maintaining, man. I'm holding on. I'm, like all the things that we champion in our community of. Just barely making it. Happy for the crumbs that we get. Happy for this, and that's what I mean when I say raise the standards. Right. And a lot of us don't want to do that, because when you raise the standards, that's accountability. That's putting that mirror in front of everybody. What do I got to do to raise the standards? Okay, I can't be wasting money on this. I can't be all alcoholed out and drugged out and all this. I can't be at the clubs. I can't be buying all this stuff when I ain't even got a life insurance plan. I see all that type of stuff that you got to do to really raise your standards of life. A lot of us don't want to do. You only live once, or YOLO, or whatever they call that thing. Yeah. So I only live once, so I'm gonna just get drunk. My birthday, so man, I'm gonna turn up and spend all my money and get drunk and high. So that's how you celebrate. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, no, I celebrate me having a business achievement more than I do a birthday, because to me, when I put myself in the right position, every day can be my birthday. You know what I'm saying? Like I can really, I can wake up one day and say, hey man, I'm going to Paris for a week. Oh man, I'm going to Jamaica for, you know what I'm like? That's the life I'm trying to get to. That's the life I want to live. You know what I'm saying? So like me partying or me wasting how much ever money just to feel good for this night, then wake up with a hangover, and then I got to figure out how I'm going to borrow money to make it to work for the rest of the week. I don't want that life. And most of us shouldn't, you know what I'm saying? And it's okay for people to check that and call it out. It ain't making yourself look bad. I asked one guy one day, he was, see, the thing about us, when you call something out, we take it personal, right? It's a personal dig. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, you trying to go at me? Oh man, I told one dude, man, we got to get out, because I always talk as we as the community. I ain't saying I ain't better. I'm still trying to figure it out. I'm honest about my situation. I'm honest about that. I'm in the grind. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't have those type of issues. Like, I'm trying to make you feel like I got it together. No, I don't. I'm trying to figure it out though. I'm a grind. I'm a hustle. So I don't even get into all that. But when I was telling them that we got to get our stuff together, well, you talking about me or what? I said, no, I'm talking about the community. Oh, okay. I thought you talking about me because I'm good. I said, okay, you good? I said, you got a life insurance plan? I said, if you die, your family gonna be left with millions of dollars. Do you own property right now? Do you own stocks? Do you own anything? Oh, see, it ain't all about all that, huh? But you just told me you was good though. You know what I'm saying? You can't be good, and if you die, we gotta do a chicken plate for you. You know what I'm saying? That means you're not doing good. That's just the reality. That's not me downing you. That's saying that we all. I need a bigger insurance plan. I need more of what I'm talking about too. It ain't like I'm preaching to y'all like I'm just this high mighty person and I got to figure it out and y'all don't. I'm looking down, waving my finger at y'all. No, I'm saying as a whole, everything I talk about, everything. When I told you the other night, what I say, man, the information you just gave me, I need to apply that to my life. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is real talk. This ain't no YouTube show where it's about, oh man, Tony got it together. No, Tony don't. Tony trying to figure it out just like the next person, but I sacrifice, I grind, I go with that, I do whatever I do to get in a better position. That's just my mindset. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And that's how we all need to be. And if you come and give me some information, I'm not going, oh man, Tony, this is how you can get your stuff together. Or you need to do this, you need to do that, or you need to get a bigger plan, or you need to do this. I'm not, oh man, forget you, man. I got my stuff together. You know what I'm saying? Like, why would I get mad about you trying to give me some game that can help me? Like, you know what I'm saying? We do that a lot in our community, man. So I'm pretty sure. Absolutely. I'm pretty sure in your line of business, trying to talk to, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna ask you a question. I don't know if you want to answer. Like, I know you deal with all kind of people when it comes to what you do, right?
Yeah, for sure.
I'm pretty sure. I'm gonna just go out on a limb that when you're dealing with us, the Black community, is that a bigger fight, or do you think that all ethnicities have that same struggle of trying to do better? Because I would just guess and say you have a bigger fight, or people really go against you more. That's us, but maybe I'm wrong. You know what I'm saying? So, what's your experience when you're dealing with different people talking about what you talk about?
So it's funny you say that, because no lie, I was thinking about some of these aspects this morning, and you know, to keep it general, like obviously, every community has people who struggle, you know what I mean?
For sure.
But we got to be real at the same time. A majority of the Black community is fitting that category.
Oh,
right?
Yeah.
So it is a it is a struggle. And one thing that a concept that I really got in touch with, because like, kind of backtrack a little bit, my minor in college was psychology, right? And that's probably one of the most beneficial college courses that I took. But I was always a quiet kid, and you know, I still am today. Like, I'll walk in a room and I'll just observe, and I just, you know, that's just who I am. I'm reading people, I'm analyzing stuff, and I'm taking everything in. And that's just who I always been, you know what I mean? And I'll talk, you know what I mean? I got a lot to say sometimes, but you know, I was also raised to only speak when I'm spoken to. So that plays a part of it as well. But I'm just always, and I'm somebody who I'm trying to learn as well. So if I'm in a room full of people that are doing better than me and have an expertise, you might not hear me say nothing.
Yeah, it's time to soak
but
up.
I'm soaking up everything. You know what I mean? I'm soaking up everything. So kind of fast forward, like a new term that I was introduced to maybe like 3 or 4 years ago was cognitive dissonance. And it's a very, very interesting thing, especially when it comes to psychology. And so going back to like our primitive nature, we have that fight or flight that's embedded deep inside of us. So what happens is when somebody is approached with like an idea or a concept or a new way of thinking, that fight or flight kicks in. And so it's funny because Andre 3000 said in one, I forget what song that is, but he says there's a dissonance at play. Mom and dad do hard division. Basically talking about his parents splitting up because just their ideas, their personalities, they weren't meshing. Like maybe they had no understanding or couldn't find that common ground between each other. Sure. And so that's what happens a lot of times when people are introduced with a new idea, or, hey, you know, this is kind of what you're lacking, or this could help benefit your situation, they feel attacked. And so immediately they either want to withdraw and run for that, or they're going to battle you on it.
Yeah.
And so that's what a lot of people deal with. Is it's a new concept, it's a new idea. It goes against everything that I've been taught up until this point. And the later you are in life, the harder that fight is.
Yeah.
And so that's really the battle that's happening. And then you mix in like the upbringing and the lifestyle and the traumas that come along with behavioral things and the classical conditioning. That's another term. You know what I mean? Like what you experience over and over and over again is conditioning you to act a certain way. And all of that stuff really comes into play. So that's what I started to digest for myself. And I think, you know what I'm saying, you can relate to this. Like a lot of what you post on Facebook or social media, majority of the time is things that you're either teaching yourself or what you've already taught and dealt with.
Exactly. Everything.
And so I think if people really understood that, especially when you're speaking to them or when I'm speaking to people, understand I'm coming from a position of this is what I've dealt with or this is what I struggle with and this is what I've learned through that process and I'm trying to share it with you. It's almost like every parent. They'll, you know, my dad told me one time before he spanked me, he was like, this is going to hurt me more than it's going to hurt you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, a wise man, a smart man learns from his mistakes. A wise man learns from the mistake of others. So if somebody's trying to give you some value and information that they learn and you're fighting that, you know, that's where the disconnect is. And that's like you said, we just trying to share information with you.
That's it.
And if you take it, that's amazing. And if you don't, you know, it is what it is. But I just hope people understand that it's not an insult. It's not an attack. It's not an attack. It's just, you know what I'm saying, trying to help.
And these are the conversations I have every day, man. If I had, we already plotting on doing like a reality show for my thrift store, but I could do a reality show just on the conversations I have with older men. Like most of my conversations like that come with the older men. The youngsters, they either hear you or don't. The older ones, I think what it is they feel like you're calling them a failure, right? You know what I'm saying? Because and it's not that, because you still got if you're still moving, you be 50, 60 years old and still change the trajectory of the people you leave behind, like still at that moment. So it's not a late thing. And I had a guy the other day, he's married to my cousin, and we was going back and forth. He's a Vietnam vet and stuff. So I'd be messing with him about his health and what he need to do about wealth. And, you know, oh man, I'm straight, everybody. And what it is, I was asking him about if he died, how my cousins, how they going to be living after he go. And I think that's what kind of triggered him. But it was a real question, and he got mad about, well, everybody don't look at wealth the same. Exactly, you're right, because I'm going after billions, but I know some people that say, man, all I want is a couple rent houses, a little insurance plan, but that's still better than where we at as a whole. You know what I'm saying? So even if the very least you want just a rent house per child or a property per child, you know what I'm saying? That's still more than most of us get left anyway. So that's good. So it's not about you trying to do wealth on my level, but you got to do it on more than what you're doing now. And he told me, he said, well, what has it got to do with you? It don't matter. I said, because you're married to my cousin.
right. It does matter.
And he's like, oh, man, I set myself up for that one. But you know what I'm saying? Then he got it. You know what I'm saying? But it was the fact that, and then I gave him some game. I said, man, I said, you got your veteran hat on. I got a partner right now that's multimillionaire that's teaching veterans how to use their VA loan to not just get a dream home, but to get a home where they can get into the real estate business and start flipping homes with their same VA.
Yeah.
And my partner was like, man, I was waiting on him to say, ask for more information, ask for this. He got in his feelings and left. He's like, man, he didn't ask for no number. He didn't ask for the meet up with that guy, nothing. But I just gave him a jewel. So at the same time, I'm telling him that we need to work on something. I'm giving him jewels on how to work on it. But he's so in his feelings about what I said, even though, like I tell people, if I say something that you don't like, no, I tell people, if I say something that's a lie, call me out on it. I'm cool with it. Check me on it. But if I tell you something that you just don't like, that's something you got to deal with. That ain't. I'm not for. If I tell you some truth and you upset with it, that's something personally that you got to figure out. You know what I'm saying? Exactly. If it's a lie, call me out on it. I'm cool with it. I ain't got no problem with that. Like, nah, T, that ain't right. Woo, woo, woo. And show me the facts. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's what we got to realize, that it's nothing ego. It's nothing. And when I'm telling him that, I'm really talking, like you said, I'm talking to myself. Like when I post about family, when I post, I got some people mad at me now because I said who running against Joe Biden. I'm tap me in. You know what I'm saying? But my whole thing is, and I like triggering us like that because I want us to think.
Exactly.
Because it ain't that, oh man, you don't like Joe Biden, you're a Republican, man. They both the same snake. You know what I'm saying? They two heads of the same snake. But if somebody come together with a plan, that benefits my people, I will vote for you, Republican, Independent, because that's what politics is supposed to be about. We're not born Democrats. We're not. we're really supposed to give. If somebody want our vote, we're supposed to ask for something in return. That's the way politics supposed to work. We're the only one program to be like, they don't never have to do nothing for us, but we're supposed to do this. We're supposed to be in this religion. We're supposed to be in this. No, we're not. We're supposed to think critically for ourselves and make decisions on whatever but what's best in front of us. Like, okay, I don't like this dude, I don't like that dude. Okay. Then when I start talking, be like, man, you sound like a Republican. I'm like, man, I done voted Democrat all my life, but when I talk like a Republican. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Right. And that's when I had to unlearn and relearn, like you were saying, the things that we were programmed. Why we celebrate Christmas? Why we celebrate Thanksgiving? Because that's all we know since we were born. If your parents never showed you Christmas or Thanksgiving from the time you were born, you wouldn't know nothing about it. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? You wouldn't know nothing about it. So you were right when you're talking about everything we know is because we talk. We didn't come out saying, "When Christmas, Mama, what month is this?" We don't know nothing about none of this stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
And that's what we have to go back to. And it gets to a sticky point, right? Because I deal with a lot of youth, and of course, we want the youth to listen to their parents, right?
Right.
But what gets sticky with me is, I know some of the parents that's the parents of these youths. Some of these youths do not need to listen to their parents. Like,
exactly.
And that's a sad, scary realization of our community. Like, you want you tell kids to listen to their parents and obey their parents. Then you go to some of these households and you're like, hold on, man. No, you do not need to listen to your mom and dad. Like, this is not the right way. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So, like, man, that's crazy, man. But I say that to say that we like I always say, we got so many wars that we fighting at once. You know what I'm saying? Like this weekend, I got three events going on. We got the fundraiser. We got Raya, the 13-year-old artist. She's gonna be doing a paint and juice, teaching the kids. I'm paying her as a teacher to come teach the kids how she do her paintings and stuff.
Nice.
And we got my guys from Vegas coming out. They flying in Thursday. They be here. They start the Shield of Valor Executive Protection. So like I tell people, it's money and all this stuff, right? But everything I do has a purpose for us bettering ourselves. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like,
absolutely.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So, and that's where I feel, because I've been making money. I've been having business since I was 17. And now I feel more fulfilled because I still make money, right?
Yeah.
Really, I make less money because, you know, it's more of a going back. Everything that comes that I make go right back in. So I'm in that phase. I'm in my ugliest phase. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, for sure.
It's okay to be real and be okay in that phase. It's okay. Like, you know, I don't have to get over here like, oh man, I'm balling, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, no. I'm in the mix, in the mud. I'm in the quicksand, and I'm working to get up out of this. You know what I'm saying? So I have realized that me worried about impact is better for me. It makes me feel more fulfilled. But at the end of the road, once I get through it, it's way more money if I impact millions of people than if I just start a business and I hit it real quick. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'll be more fulfilled by making an impact on our community. Like the House of Resources, when I got it, I said, man, it's going to be a headache for 6 to 9 months. And it has been every inch of a headache. You know what I'm saying? It's going to be like, oh man, it's going to be hard to raise money. It's going to be this, it's going to be that. And all that is true, right? But I was prepared to go through that. I was prepared because at the end of the day, I'm not mad at nobody that do or don't support what I'm doing, because this is my mission. This is my call, and this is what I'm going to do regardless.
Right.
And that's the mindset we got to have as a whole. You know what I'm saying? It's not look to blame somebody for lack of support or blame this and blame that. Just keep doing what you do to keep your square and just keep marching to the tune of what you're trying to do. What I'm trying to do is change the narrative, put the youth in a better position. And I'm going to shake up some things because I had a conversation last week at the food pantry. Great lady. I can't remember her name, but she came to the House of Resources after, and she's there with her Bibles and stuff. And after I had my meeting about, I'm gonna be talking to some juvenile judges pretty soon, so I was there for that. But she came for her Bible study, and she just asked me to stay, and I told her I'll stay. You know, I chop it up. I don't understand. I'm saying, you know, I told her right up out front how I operate. I'm not, you know what I'm saying? I'm not into all this because but I'm not against it either, though. Whatever makes you a better person. Like, I don't care if you pray 1,000 times a day. If that makes you a better person, I'm with it. I don't care if you never pray. If that makes you a better person, I'm with it. Like, I don't judge. Are you a better person or a worse person depending on if you go to church or not? You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's some of the posts I've been making today. You know what I'm saying? And I'm going through that. Why? Because I deal with a lot of elderly Black men in this community that, quote unquote, are role models for youth or good for the youth. And then when I sit down in front of them and talk to them about the youth, they don't have no idea or no care in the world about it. You know what I'm saying? So are you better for our community just because you're in church every Sunday, but you don't do nothing? I'd rather a person that never go to church and all I do is see them in the community working. I'd rather that person. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So these some of the dilemmas, man. But yeah, as far as the wealth thing, everything we go back to is wealth. It goes back to the money game. So just give me like when I talk about the elderly, just the battles that we go through, man. Give me your perspective on some of what I just said. I know I rambled a lot, but
no, you good. No, you good, because I was soaking up everything you said. And first off, let's go to the kids and their parents. Me, especially because after I got out of school and college, I started working with athletes, and I was working with pros and kids. And I learned a lot from kids. You know what I mean? And I think a lot of adults don't give children enough credit. Yeah. And it comes back to children being born intelligent and taught how to be dumbed down. Children are creative. They're very, very intelligent. And I love working with kids because I learn a lot from them. Sometimes they teach me how to do stuff in a simpler way. Sometimes I would get ahead of myself when I was training and had to come back and make things simple, and it worked better. So I think our older generation also has to tap into that, the fact that the world they grew up in is not here anymore. Yeah. I mean, just look at it. You got things like cryptocurrencies. You got the Federal Reserve moving to a digital platform where all transactions are going to be digital and instantaneous. It's not the same world. So for you to judge, someone younger than you based on what they're teaching, what they're promoting, because the world that you lived in is not the same. That's where that disconnect start and those generational gaps start to happen, because our older folks, as we said earlier, you set in your ways, you don't want to listen, you don't want to learn, and you think that somebody's younger than you can't teach you anything. That's a big mistake. Yeah. So I think, like, if we humble ourselves and we realize that everybody got some value to bring, no matter if you're 10 years old or 60 years old, you both can probably learn from one another. And this is kind of off subject, but when you put an elderly person like our elders around a child and just watch them operate, like somebody who's near the end of their life and somebody whose life is just starting, that's one of the most beautiful things to see and witness. And just energetically, elder people with dogs around children, they're happier. They say there's a different way about them and how they move and stuff like that. And I think that's something important to tap in and pay attention to. And there's another thing. So a friend of mine and I were having a conversation. His name Brandon Harris, real sharp dude, and I never thought about it the way he put it, but he said, Cam, I figured out why a lot of people struggle with money. And he said it's because it's not natural. And that really, I was kind of quiet after he said that. And I thought about it for many, many days after, just how deep that was. Yeah. Because it's not, we weren't, you look on the planet of Earth, humans are the only ones that pay to live here. Yeah. So it's not, what I'm saying? It's not natural, but it's something essential that we got to learn how to cope with, and how to use it to our advantage. Because I saw a quote not too long ago that mentioned that wealthy people leverage their time for money, and people with a poor mindset wealthy people leverage their money for time, and people with a poor mindset leverage their time for money. So somebody who's wealthy, or somebody who has that understanding of, I'm going to put this money out there to work so I can get some coming back, so I can enjoy my life and my time. Whereas people are like, man, I got to go out there. I got to put this time in to work, and these bills got to be paid and stuff like that. So I'm leveraging my time to take care of these things. When at the end of the day, if you give money a job and you understand how to start doing that well, you can get back to the more natural aspects of life and living. And so it's like a catch 22, and it comes full circle when I start to think about those things. Because honestly, a lot of entrepreneurs like, and I think there's a misconception, and there's like this kind of underlying hate when people look at entrepreneurs as somebody who's financially free, and they're like, oh, they look at the lifestyle, but you got to understand, somebody who built that, they put a lot of work into getting there. So it's not like, oh, I got to go to my 9 to 5 and I got to do this, and you look at somebody else's lifestyle, and you're like, man, you ain't really working like that. No, they put a lot of work to get there. And it's just about making that sacrifice. You can sacrifice 2 years, 3 years, 4 or 5 years building a system. You can get to that same thing. But at the end of the day, that's kind of what I started to realize too, is kind of coming back to what you mentioned, just gathering what I've learned from older people, and me being in the middle at 35, gathering what I learned from younger people, and then find out how to bring value to both sides, and kind of bridging those gaps. It's wealth gaps, it's age gaps, and there's
language,
miscommunication.
yeah, communication. Yeah, we just got a bunch of gaps,
Yeah,
And that's why, speaking of it, that's why every Tuesday I do the Bridging the Gap show with Miss Rhonda. You know what I'm saying? Because
yeah.
That was my mindset with talking to her, and I was like, okay, she one of the elderly people that get it, right? But we don't hear from them type of elderly people. We normally hear from like, I respect my elders, but most of my elders that I run across, like, no, I don't want no game from you. I don't want to go that route. Not disrespect, not respectfully, but no, the way you, and that's where I think a lot of the youth, a lot of the elderly miss the boat on the youth. Like, you're preaching to them, right? You're fussing at them, you're telling them what to do. And then when they look at your everyday life, they like, well, I don't want to end up like this, so why would I follow your information? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, and they don't get it. They take it as disrespect instead of looking at it like, well, I don't know. I wouldn't want you. And you ask most of them, they'll be like, no, you don't want to go this route. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, you fussing at me about the route I'm going. I'm going down a different route than what you went to. So which one is better? You know what I'm saying? Like, and so that's what we got to understand. And it's not a blame game. It's about calling it out in a solution game, right? And like, right while you were talking, I was thinking about, like what you do and what you offer, the services that you offer our people, right? And most of them will be right, because like, even me, it's a lot of things that I don't do because why? Like I just told you, all the money that I got coming in go right back out through investments, through just whatever, just trying to keep it afloat. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So even me, in the situation I'm in, I don't fully go after a lot of things. Why? Because I need to make more income to go after those things. So while you was talking, I'm always thinking about solutions. I'm always thinking about systems, like you just brought up. How do we, like, say I'm with you, and now I'm selling it, right? I'm selling the like, I'm bringing that to the kitchen tables of the people I already deal with.
Yep.
The first thing I would need to do, because everything I will be telling them was great information. Everything I'm telling them will put them in a better position, right? But at the same time, as me knowing that, I got to realize their situation they in now. So it's easy to say, hey, you need to carve out $200, $300 a month. That's easy. It's easy to say. But then when you're talking to a person that don't even know how they're going to eat tonight or pay a bill by Friday, how do we fix that? And that's when I got my wheels spinning right now, because I'm like, okay, say I'm selling it. Say I'm part of the team now, and I'm down here pushing it, right?
Right.
And I'm at a family household that love what I'm saying.
Yeah.
What can I give them? What kind of opportunities? How can I help them come up with side hustles and this and that will be able to afford this? You know what I'm saying? And I think I was just writing it down while you was talking. You know what I'm saying? I'm thinking that if we could have something like, I mean, I got to ask you, because I don't know about, like, I don't think that's nothing illegally. Like, if we selling there, but at the same time we helping them come up with businesses or come up with something that can
Oh,
help
no.
pay for that. I just had to ask because I said, I don't know. But I think, and that's probably something we could talk about, offline. But I'm a solutionist, so that's what I'm thinking about right now. If I'm locked in with you and I'm down here in Temple pushing it to the people, because I got a bunch of people I could be in front of. First thing that most of them gonna say is, "Well, I ain't got an extra 200," and and most people be like, "Yeah, you got it." But I feel like that sometimes. Somebody asks me, "Hey, man, you need to put an extra 2, 3, 4, 500," even though I know long term it will be greater. At this moment in my life, I got the house resort, I got the thrift store, I got this, I got that. I'm like, man, that extra 200 need to go over here and to go over there. So myself, I'm like, okay, well, I need to open up my snow cone stand because that'll bring me an extra $10,000, $15,000 for this summer. That could be a way. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I'm thinking personally. You know what I'm saying? To get like I say on my square what your company offers and all that. But I think that'll be a good program that we can figure out that, okay, Tony, you down here in Temple, you pushing this right here.
Yes, sir.
Let's put a program with it. So when you at the table and the first thing they say is they ain't got the extra $200. Okay, House of Resources, we got different resources. We can you can work with us part-time. You can sell some products. You can be affiliate seller of a House of Resources products. You can, you know what I'm saying? You can help with the thrift store. Whatever we came up with. I think if we merge those two worlds together, I think we can change lives for real, bro.
Yeah, most definitely. And that's kind of so when I do meet with people, right? It's one thing I have to understand from my side of the table is if I kind of break it down like this. So I explain to people right off the bat what a financial independence number is. And essentially it's, if you retire tomorrow, how much money do you need to live the current lifestyle that you're living? Or how much do you want to live the lifestyle that you see yourself living? Right? So for example, if somebody needs about $3,000 a month in income, that's about $36,000 a year. They need to have around $900,000 set aside to last them, let's say 25, 30 years in retirement. That's what it's going to take.
Yeah.
So the number one question I asked them is, if that's your situation, how close are you to that number? How close are you to that 900,000? If it's 5,000 a month, they need about 1.5 million. Okay, how close are you to hitting that target? Yeah. What plans do you have in place to get you there? And that's where it comes down to, like you mentioned, you were having a conversation with one of your family members and talking about wealth. Like, at the end of the day, the financial independence number is different for everybody. You're absolutely right. But there are specific things that you need to have in place that are going to make sure you maintain that lifestyle when you're done working. Because at the end of the day, I mean, you see it all the time on the news and Instagram, Facebook, wherever you go. If you're on there long enough, you're going to see somebody or some post or some news come across and say Social Security's trust is due to run out by 2034. That's what a lot of people depend on that. So if you don't have a plan in place that's going to step in the absence of Social Security, and you're somebody who is depending on that, you're going to be in for a rude awakening. So we have to understand that, okay, we got to have a plan in place that we have control of, that's going to make sure we sustain a certain type of lifestyle. So that's one of the first. Are you on pace to hit your goal? If not, if there's some way I can bring some value and help you get on track to reach that number, would you be interested in hearing a little bit more about that? Point blank. Now, that's where our business comes into play, because there's an order of operations when we're building wealth. Number one, the first thing that I thought, and the first thing that I was introduced to when I got introduced to this business was, if I passed away tomorrow, am I going to be a financial burden on my family? I'm in Las Vegas, so family's got to fly me back home. Yeah. Then we got to cover the funeral costs and all of that stuff. Okay, I didn't want that to happen. So I protected myself against that. Now, if I pass away, my family ain't got to worry about doing all that. And they're going to have a substantial amount of money left over once all that's taken care of. Yeah. The second thing is a critical terminal illness or long-term care need could eat away at my family's wealth as well. So I got to take care of that too. And then the third major thing is having a plan for wealth and retirement. So boom, we got something to take care of all three of those things. We're in a pretty solid space. Now, teach people how money works, compound interest, different ways to invest it, how those investments work, and then also, if I'm growing money long term, how is that going to be taxed? You know, and making sure we got something in play with some huge tax advantages, because I think that's one thing that people underestimate is in retirement and in the wealth transfer, taxes are going to attack your family's wealth. So having a plan that takes advantage of that too is going to allow you to stay in wealth and then pass that wealth on generationally. So when they kind of wrap their minds around all of that, okay, now let's figure out how much you can contribute towards solidifying this plan. And for some people, it might be $200 a month to start out. For some people, it might be $500. For some people, it might be a couple grand. For some people, it might be 10 grand a month. Everybody's situation is different and their needs are different. Yeah. Now, to kind of bring it back, a lot of people and a majority of people need help with their plan. Our business and the financial industry as a whole produces the most millionaires. So if you can help somebody solve their problem and increase your income at the same time by being in a part of the business, that's kind of the solution that our business brings. Yeah. Because you know a handful of people, and probably more than that need help in that regard.
Oh yeah.
Right. Yeah. And in our community as a whole, I looked at this when I first got into the business too. I said, okay, Temple right now has a population of about 80,000 people. During the day, the population is around 100 or maybe a little bit more because of the people that live in the surrounding areas that come in to work at Scott and White, Wilson Art, you know, all those things. Facebook is about to add a plant there. See, I'm paying attention to what's going on.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
So there's 80 to 100,000 people in the city of Temple, and a large portion of that population needs help with planning, and a large portion of that population doesn't understand the living benefits and that come along with a life insurance plan, how it can be used while you're still alive, because the majority of people think about the death aspect. So if a person needs to help making more money, like you said, they may not want to be in this business and teaching people how to do this, but come up with a side hustle, come up with some type of skill set. I mean, you might like day trading or whatever is options out there for you to increase your income, your cash flow, to be able to start contributing more, to put more money at work to reach your financial goals. So it's options. Our business is one of them. And there's a lot of different streams of income through this business.
Yeah.
It's active income, making money with my own personal pen. It's passive income through building a team and an agency. It's residual income when you help people, protect their 401k or retirement income, and also residual income from insurance plans. It's a lot of different ways to get paid in the business, and many businesses. So if you're not willing to put the time, energy, and effort to figuring out some way to make some new income, then you really don't want to be financially independent.
Yeah.
And I think that's a hard reality that it took me a little while to realize too, because I wanted to help so bad.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
can't help nobody that don't want to help themselves.
Exactly. And I had to really realize that. And so I was like, okay, I got to remove my emotions from the situation. I just got to tell them what I have to offer. I have, some amazing products that I market, some of the most powerful financial vehicles in the world that not a lot of people get to hear about. I have the opportunity to market that and can help people. And so they can take advantage of that. I can also teach them a little overview about how this business works. and that they see the value and the opportunity there to build a business, then I can offer them that. I can show them that. Yeah. Whatever they do with it, it's on them. But through that, I started to kind of realize and understand that, you know, a lot of people, they like the idea of financial independence and, you know, things like that. But when it comes to actually achieving it, that's another story. And so, you know, I just started reaching out to as many people as possible, getting the information, meeting as people as possible. And then, you know, I'm just looking for the people that are looking for me.
Yeah.
Who want to build and grow together. And that made things a lot simpler.
Yeah.
But like you said, for somebody who doesn't have that, we got to figure out how to get it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's in making that a priority.
And making it a normal regular conversation to that bring that awareness, right? You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Like a lot of us, we so used to just we don't say nothing about when we got a job and they taking it out. You know what I'm saying, for the 401k, whatever, because that's what we've been taught all our life. And then when we get fired or quit or whatever, then it's just stop. And that's what we have to realize. Like even when it comes to life insurance, and I was talking to you about this personally, and that's why I like to talk about the community, but I like to put my personal life into it because I want people to know that this is something I'm figuring out. Like
this
conversation that me and you having right now to the public is something that I had with you about what I need to do about getting my, you know what I'm saying? So it ain't about like nobody's better or doing this or
like somebody told me.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? You know, and as you talking, I'm over here like, okay, yeah, I need to go ahead. You know what I'm saying? And I already been convinced, but I guess I do so much, and that's why I know it is a segment out there that would probably would hear it if we gave them a way that they can make what they need to be putting in that outside of what they already make. You know what I'm saying? Because I feel like that right now at this day, it's a lot of things that I want to do that I don't do because my money tied up right now. Like you know what I'm saying? Like sometimes I love Dame Dash, but sometimes using his playbook, it puts you behind the 8 ball. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Like, you know what I'm saying? Putting all your money up, investing into yourself and letting it keep growing, and you might not see it for some years and stuff. So that's the lifestyle that I have took into. So I have shirts that say cash poor, assets rich. I have no problem with telling people, hey, man, it's some days I don't have the cash. I got properties. I got this. I got merchandise. I got a lot of stuff that's assets. Right. You know what I'm saying? But I don't have the liquid cash on a day-to-day basis. So this is just me being transparent. So this me understanding that there's some people that will be like, hey, man, I love what you're saying, Cameron. I ain't got no extra $200, $300, $400 a month. Okay, mm-hmm. So now if you really, like you say, the people that really want it, if you really want it, how can we help you do that? And that's why the House of Resources come back in, and that's why I love building with people like you and teaming up, because all y'all all y'all people that's in these fields doing it. Now we got a place that we're really reforming the mindset of the community, the everyday community. And if I can do that, and I'm bringing it like the House of Resources, I already had 2 or 3 meetings with millionaires inside the House of Resources. You know what I'm saying? Talking about what we can do to our community. There's no other building in Temple that does that. You know what I'm saying? For our community, you know, there's not no places having millionaires come in to talk about how can they benefit the east side or the west side of Temple. You know what I'm saying? Or whatever. It's not no people doing that. So that's what we in there talking about: grocery stores, meat markets, bringing more jobs. You know, how can we have our own little clinic, hospital, so everybody ain't got to be crammed in the Scott and White. You know what I'm saying? These conversations are not everyday topic. So that's why when I'm talking dealing with you, building with you, is like, okay, man, I love what you're doing. I need to tap in with you personally. But as I do it personally, like, how can we do this? And I like to see the hurdles of the roadblocks before they come, right? So when I talk to people investing, oh man, I ain't got no money to invest. I'm like, okay, how many times you go out to eat this week? Well, instead of going out 5 times, go out 3 times or 2 times. Now you got extra money. You know what I'm saying? So we got to figure out. An old partner always told me, he said, man, even a person that's homeless gonna find that cigarette and beer every day. Meaning, if you really want it, no matter how bad your situation is, you'll figure out a way. And that's what he was basically saying. Like, if you really want something, you'll figure out a way. You know what I'm saying? I really wanted the House of Resources. The bank told me no. My investors told me no, and I got the building. I figured out a way. You know what I'm saying? And that's that's the determination that we got to have when it comes to just life. You know what I'm saying? So I brought that up because that's something that I say personally. Like, I need to do this, I need to do that. Oh man, I need to tap in more of my credit. And let me, there's another transparent moment. This is something I got to get over, right? And it dealing with the same thing I was just talking about with people doing the financial, with talking to financial guys like you. If somebody say, okay, man, your credit bill due, or it's a great investment right here. The way I'm programmed, I would just do the investment and say, forget the credit. But that's really the wrong way. You know what I'm saying? Like, but so this is, like I say, this is me being transparent. Even though the stuff I talk about, even though the stuff I occurred in, I done got in knowledge, even though the people I'm around, my inner me still makes the wrong decisions because I'm like, man, I'll pay that credit card later. This is a great investment. I need to do this today because it might not be here tomorrow. And that's why
I mean,
so that's what I'm saying. So I get it.
I would say that might not be a terrible decision.
But it might not. But when you do it over and over, then you start looking back like, hold on, my credit bad there. You know
for sure.
That's what I'm saying. It might not be if it's a one-off, but if it becomes if it becomes repetitive, like now you got bad credit. You might have got a couple investments over here, but now you got bad credit. You know what I'm saying?
Most definitely.
So I talk about this because I actually live it. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is not me outside of what I'm talking. Everything I talk about on here, I live it. I'm learning, like you said, what I post about, it's not me talking about nobody. This is what I'm living. When I'm talking about religion, this is something I deal with in my family. When I talk about family issues, this is something I dealing with. You know what I'm saying? Everything I'm posting is about me. Trying to figure it out. You know what I'm saying? So,
most definitely.
So go ahead. But I understand some people just don't want the help. But some people, we actually, our bad habits, the bad lessons we learn, the way we used to doing business is not the best way, and we got to get over that. Me included.
Most definitely. And it's a learning process. At the end of the day, but kind of piggybacking on what you said when it comes to like the credit or investment, another transparent moment on my part, like when I first got into the business, I was transitioning, you know what I'm saying, out of a job and stuff like that. So, my funds were kind of tight. I had gone through my savings and everything like that. But however, when it came a time to where I had to make a decision, a couple of times of whether I was going to pay my car note or my life insurance, I paid my life insurance because I was like, I can get another car. I'm not really worried about that, but I got to make sure this stays intact. So, that's one of those decisions I made. Now, fast forward to today, my life insurance policy has, a good amount of cash value, and I can go a year without making a premium payment. And that's one thing that people don't get taught about life insurance too. They're like, oh man, it's expensive and stuff like that. But when you're dealing with like cash value elements and you really start to understand like the aspect of how they work, it's very flexible in some of these policies as well. And it's designed to be that way and leverage later on in life too. So it takes a little time to kind of build some things. But once it's built, when it's built properly, it's amazing when the fruits of that labor and investment come full circle. So it's like you mentioned, like right now I may not have the liquid cash to make these moves and stuff like that, but that's a part of the building process. Because at the end of the day, it's like we always refer to in our business. First, when you get started, it's all work, and no pay. Then you got some work, a little bit of pay. Then you got some work, pay, and then you got work, pay, and then you got pay. You know what I mean? That's just a part of the building process and going through those phases and stuff like that. When you're trying to build something, like I've been playing basketball since I was 6 years old, but when I started, I sucked. You know what I mean? And so when you approach business and anything new, you gonna suck at first. But if you stick with it, you stay consistent, you keep building, eventually you're gonna get really good at what you do. And I think that's one part of, like, especially athletes come to business or anything like that. That's why you see a lot of executives and stuff who are a part of business, they're competitive or they were an athlete because they took the same thing that they learned from whatever sport or whatever they were doing before, and they just applied it to business. And it's all relative.
That's key, man. You dropping gems like always, man. You know what I'm saying? But we're gonna wrap this up. It's been an hour, but I really I know your schedule tight, man, but idea. I want to do like, I don't know, we call it financial talk or something. You know, I want to do is, I don't know, depending on your schedule, of course, maybe a weekly, every other week, however your schedule, man. Just let me know. Like, if you say, man, whatever time you tell me good for you, hey, I'm gonna make my schedule good for you, because I do that in business because I respect everybody in their own right, right? Like, if I just say, man, I want to do this Thursday night show at 7:00. You can be like, hold on, T, I'm locked in it. So I always, every time I do partnerships, every time I build with people, I make it where it's comfortable for them, because I understand that our relationship and our business relationship grows if they can do it. That's comfortable for them. If I put you in a situation that's uncomfortable for you, or you just can't do it, it's gonna be hard for us to build, right? You know what I'm saying?
Right, most definitely.
You know,
but we can definitely make some time to do that.
And I want to do that because like I said, I want to keep the conversation going. I want to lock in with you personally, and so I can be the person that, as I'm already doing the work in the community, right? But now if I get, and that's why I really tapped in with you last year, because I was like, okay, if I did go ahead and get this something great that I can have at the table when I'm talking to these kids' parents. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I can figure out the solution. And then when they do hit me with, well, I ain't got this, I can't do this. Okay, well, we got the House of Resources, got those resources. Now we building up our own system. Now we building up our own little world inside this world where we're giving the solutions. And then if you can't afford that solution, then we got other solutions that can help you come right back and afford that solution. You know what I'm saying? So it's a one-stop shop, and we steady building. We're doing the seminars, we're doing the workshops, and there's people that you can reach out and hit. There's people you can reach out. You know what I'm saying? Like, and we building those type of things, man. So I definitely want to I want to build a show or a conversational piece, because like I say, the conversation we had the other night, man, that was nothing but gems. You know what I'm saying? Well, nobody hear that but me and you, and that's why I love having these conversations like publicly, because we having these same conversations, but when you don't document them, like man, the bars you were dropping the other night, like, like I'm still over here, like I got notes. I'm like, hold on, I got to get myself together, and that's why I love being around people that, and we all too. One thing we should all love to do is keep learning, and we love being around people that inspire us. Not in no hater way, not no, oh, this person is that. No, that person is trying to give you some information that you can take and change your family life. That person, you should praise that person. You should, you know what I'm saying? You should salute that person. And then every time you get a chance, let them know where it came from. And that starts a ripple effect. You know what I'm saying? When I can come to the public and say, man, this black man right here from Temple, you know what I'm saying, out there in Vegas doing this thing, gave me jewels to come back to the Temple community, and now we doing this and that. That's something that sparked off what your journey was years ago. You know what I'm saying? Now I'm pointing to what the information you just gave me, that, and I studied a lot. It's jewels that you gave me in the last week I ain't heard of before, and I do a lot of studying wealth. You know what I'm saying?
Likewise.
When people say, yeah, you can go to YouTube in a university, which is true. It's a lot of game on YouTube, right? But it's different when you can tap in with people personally, when you can lock in with people personally, because it's gonna always be jewels that you get on YouTube that you wouldn't get on YouTube if you was in the room with that person. You just ain't gonna hear that on YouTube. You know what I'm saying? You might have heard about 80% of what they said, but I guarantee they're gonna hit you about 10, 15, 20% that you never heard of. That's the part we're missing out on. Everybody go to YouTube, but we're missing out on that last 20% that really connects it, because we don't want to pay for this, or we don't want to build with this person or that person, man. So we'll tap in, man. But any last words as we get ready to shut the stove, man? I appreciate you coming on again. Like I say, I thought we were just gonna have another phone conversation. I appreciate when I read it. I was like, oh no, he's talking about tapping into the podcast. Let's go and do this. You know what I'm saying? I really appreciate that, man. I love everything you're doing. I love the knowledge that you give it and gave me. And I'm gonna be here. I'm gonna talk to y'all camera, because I got to get my stuff in order. So when I go to these people, it makes more sense, because I'm living it. I like everything you see me talk about. I live. When I talk about the crypto, the bees, the chickens, the whatever you do, it's not me because I heard it. I actually live in it too. So I got to get on that side of that, man. But so I appreciate you for coming on. But yeah, any final words? Any last things you want to say?
Most definitely. No, I appreciate you for having me, man. It's always a pleasure to connect with you. Even like you said, our conversation offline. And like the YouTube channels, it's always something that they hold back, some little details as far as like how their recipe works. So you gotta, you know what I'm saying, come to them for the information. But I'm always an open book for anybody that reaches out. But you know, last words, like kind of coming back to one of your final remarks was just you know helping people understand, like, because where I started was I was coming from a scarcity mindset. You know, there's not enough for everybody, and I think that's sometimes a lot of people have that in their mind, like, I just got to hold on to this and just protect, you know, what's mine and stuff like that. And that comes from just the scarcity mindset. So shifting from scarcity to abundance, because one thing about it, they print money every single day, and they print a lot of it. So, you know, just understanding how it works, and kind of letting money go out freely, not just anywhere and everywhere, but with some education, some understanding, and some knowledge on how that stuff works, then be able to kind of let that go out there. And because we like to hold on tight, you know what I mean? We for some reason, when it comes to money, we just want to, you got to hold on tight. But when you start learning how to let it go, just like sometimes you got to let people go, you know, to find out where they really at with you. Just let that, sometimes let that money go out there, let it work, let it duplicate, let it multiply, because it can work 24/7. You can't.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Just come from that abundance mindset and know that there's plenty out there for everybody. And don't be shy to network and work and build with people. 1% of 100 people efforts is better than 100% of nothing. So, you know, that's kind of what I'll say to kind of close it out. I'm looking forward to our next conversation and establishing, you know, something weekly that'll be dope.
Yeah. Nah, definitely. I'm about to run to the house. Arisa, what you got up for the rest of the day?
I'm about to make a phone call as soon as we get off, to kind of take care of some things, and then I'm pretty free for the majority of the afternoon. So
okay. Well, just whenever you get free, just give me a call. Like I said, I'm gonna be at the house resource, just cleaning up and messing around. But I definitely I ain't gonna hold you too long. But I want a quick conversation on some personal stuff on what I need to do to get in order for me personally. Like I say, because I like when I talk to the people about something, I like to be living it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, most definitely.
I don't like to talk about too much I ain't living. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir. No doubt.
So yeah, just let me know when you're free, and we'll finish off a conversation later on. But and then like I said, we'll follow up. And whenever we get a day, it ain't got to be a certain day. It could be, hey, this week I'm good on this day. Next week I might be good on that day. But I definitely want to we can call it financial talk. You know what I'm saying? Tony and Cameron or something. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? We'll figure out something. But I appreciate everybody that's tapped in and that's going to tap in. I appreciate Mr. Davis for jumping in with us, man. And I look forward to building with you, man. You have a great day, and I'll talk to you soon, my G.
Most definitely. Yes, sir. You too. Peace. All right, peace.